One thing for what is very important for me in leading teams is this. It's not an ability, it's not a skill. It's for me, it's real an attitude, a value to create an open, authentic atmosphere. I would call it in a way that you are able to help people, yourself, to say the things as they are. There's this famous book called Radical Candor, written by Kim Scott, one of the managers in Google, who said, for me it's important that we can create bullshit-free zones. Bullshit-free in the thing that people can work, love their work, do their work, and can say the things the way they are. That you don't have to become another person in order to be able to work there. And for me, the most important there is the ability to give and receive feedback. Easy to say again, but in the courses I run, I see how difficult it is for people to be able to give and receive honest feedback. Yeah, because what often happens in people's mind is this thing about I have to give positive or negative feedback. And what happens if in your mind you think I have to give somebody negative feedback, it's not so easy. And often there the concern comes up. Concern about what will happen with the person or with me when giving my feedback. And often feedback is even seen as giving critics. For me, I think that this thing is how to deal with this concern is that if you can change a bit how you look at feedback. If I would ask you as a manager and ask you, do you think it's important to help your team members or your direct reports to grow, to develop? I guess everybody would say yes. So how can you help them to grow, to develop is by giving them feedback. So and feedback is mainly helping people to grow, to develop. But often it's seen as something like negative, and that doesn't help. And often the negative part comes from the concern people have. The concern that, concern for myself, for example, concern that if I give this feedback to that person, I will not be able to deal with the reactions of the people. People might get angry, people might get hurt, and how will I deal with that? Second thing is that often the concern about the others. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want people to become arrogant. Maybe I don't want people to feel bad about my feedback. And that's the reason why I don't give my feedback. Concern for myself, concern for the others, but also concern for the relation I have with that person. The most painful about that is if you don't give your feedback, it still will be in you. You will still see that person as a person who is doing things or very good or not good enough, and it will color your your behavior towards that person. You will feel it, the other person will feel it, and it will create tensions, I think. And tensions are making a team unsafe. And that's what you want to avoid. So I think you don't have too much choice. You have to deal with feedback, you have to give your feedback, and you have to also help others to give feedback to you. For me, it's very crucial if you want to create this open, authentic atmosphere where people can be honest towards each other. I think as a manager, as a leader, you have to start with yourself by giving your feedback, being interested for the reactions of people, and ask for feedback of your direct reports. So, sorry, you don't have a choice. You have to be able to deal with giving and receiving open, authentic, respectful feedback. Again, I always say it's easy to say and talk about it. And as a trainer or a consultant or a coach, sometimes it's very easy to talk about it, but it's not so very easy to do it. But what helps for me is what I believe is this relation part, being interested in people. And if you give your feedback, and especially when you give your confrontation, don't expect that people will say, oh, thank you, big guru, thank you very much, it's so helpful. No, people will react, and people will mostly react from out of emotionally. People get, and everything you want to avoid, you don't want to people get angry, you don't want to get people get hurt, but it can happen. And the only thing I think you can do is being interested in the reaction. And what you can do is just to say, well, I see this happening, I don't want to this happening, but tell me a little bit more why it's so difficult for you to hear. Why is it so painful for you to hear? Why does it make you a bit angry? Why does it make you sad? And that's the only thing you can do, is helping people to talk about it and showing your interest in how people deal with the feedback you give. In that sense, I think you can help people to be honest also about their reaction. Question often rises then is how do you deal with feedback? Do you have to give it personally, or can you give your feedback in the team? I believe it's not the either or, it's a kind of and. And in a sense, I believe that if you can help people to be honest to each other, it can help to give also your feedback in discussions. Mainly, and to bring back feedback to this essential, the essence. Because in fact is, feedback is giving back, feeding back what is a reaction of people. Feeding back, I see this happening, and this is the impact on me. If you can do that and can create that in your team discussions, I think there's nothing to fear. I think the other thing is about if you have kind of more personal feedback to people on their performance, on their behavior, I think sometimes it's better to do it individual. But if somebody says something and it comes across very arrogant, and it's in a team discussion, why not saying it? Because it's for me, the essence of feedback is giving back what is your reaction on the behavior of somebody, and tell you why, in order that you help people to learn about it. That's for me the essence of feedback. So for me it's very clear, you don't have no choice. You have to be able to give and receive feedback in a way to help people to learn, to grow, to get better results.